Hello guys, let's talk about Segwit and the Lightning Network. Before we are doing that, what's actually the scaling issue on Bitcoin? Bitcoin has a 1 megabyte fixed block size and not more. So 1 megabyte is the maximum that can fit in a block, and this block then went in the blockchain. The issue here is the speed is reduced if a lot of people are doing a lot of transactions and they want to get in the block. We had this issue already in the past, for example, 2017 end of it, where a lot of transactions got stuck in the mempool and they didn't went inside the blockchain as quick as normally, because you had to pay a lot of mining fees to get in and get a confirmation. And the issue here, we have to pay higher mining fees and to get quicker confirmation, and some small transactions, some micro payments like buying coffee or even smaller things, it's not possible or almost impossible now, because you pay more for the transaction than for the actual good you're buying. And for example, one Satoshi, it doesn't make sense to send one Satoshi if you have to pay more for the mining fee itself. Then people came up with the idea, why not increase the block size? Why don't we make, 2 megabytes, 4 megabytes, or even more, so more transactions can fit in one block, which makes sense. But the issue here is, in my opinion, that's a short-term solution. Doesn't work very well on long-term. Because so some hard forks like Bitcoin Cash did that. Bitcoin Cash increased the block size, and the issue here is it makes the complete system, the complete blockchain, more centralized. You only have then some few big players and less people who are doing this by their own, or some persons. You only have some bigger ones. And that's because the bandwidth is increasing, the CPU power you need more power, you need more storage, and everything gets bigger. So the blockchain is increasing quicker, not maybe at first sight because people are not using it immediately, but if there are more people using this blockchain, then the block size and the blockchain itself is growing much quicker than it would, and then you need much more storage for the complete blockchain to verify everything. Each full node has more issues, and only a few big players are left then. So it doesn't look like it's an issue at first, but later on it might make more issues than with the 1 megabyte block size. And another issue is DDoS attacks can happen there. So some people can send a lot of small dust transactions, so some transactions that are not really important, just to make some DDoS attacks, and then the blockchain is again getting full anyway. So it doesn't help any to increase the size if there are attacks, and the size is growing. The block size is also getting full with these DDoS attacks. So what's the Segwit now? Segwit is a soft fork, which means it's backwards compatible. You can also use old clients without Segwit, but I'm recommending using Segwit because the transaction is confirmed quicker if you have a Segwit address. How does it work actually? The transactions are split into two segments. So the block size is not increased with Segwit. Instead, they are moving some part away from the block, so more transactions can fit in the block. And so it's called it's moving the unlocking signature, the witness data it's called, to the witness segment. So it has a separate witness Merkle tree. There's a separate Merkle tree for that, and this Merkle root of this Merkle tree is inside the Coinbase transaction. So inside the first transaction of each of the blocks, you have the Merkle root of this separate witness data. And no transaction malleability, possibly because of this Merkle root inside the Coinbase transaction. We have 3 address types now in Bitcoin. In the mainnet, we have this one which starts with 3. This is now this Segwit address, this compatibility address, which still also works with old addresses. It's wrapped inside, it's an P2SH, so it's called like that. It's some script address. But it could also be that it's a multi-signature address or some other script, so don't always rely on it that it's an Segwit address, but it's most of the time it could be that it's a Segwit address. Then we have the one with which starts with BC1, and that's a native Segwit address. This should be the address used in the future, but doesn't work well with one addresses, which are the third one, the one which start with 1. That's actually the old Bitcoin address with no Segwit support. So don't use those anymore. If you create a new wallet, try to use 3, if possible BC1. What's now this Lightning Network? The Lightning Network is neither a hard fork nor is it a soft fork. It's a second layer solution. You can imagine it like internet layers, like the protocols like HTTP or TCP, UDP, everything put on top. And Lightning Network would be the second layer. So Bitcoin itself, the Bitcoin blockchain, is the first layer, and the Lightning Network is the second layer built on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. This Lightning Network predicates on Segwit. So Segwit is needed to enable Lightning Network, and transaction can happen then off-chain and instantly between participants. So you don't have the transaction happening on-chain. It will happen later on if you close some channel, but everything that happens in between, like small payments, like buying coffee, buying some, some service provider fee or something, and everything that is happening off-chain, it doesn't go on the chain immediately. It will happen later on. So it's like some time cut of the money. So we are cutting off some time. We are doing something in between. And then later on, we are writing this back to the blockchain when everything is finished, when all the transactions happen. And then we don't have to pay a lot of fees just for opening, closing this so-called channel. So how does the Lightning Network work now? Like I said, you have to open a payment channel and with another person, and you also have to close it if you want to later on. So to move it to the blockchain, to the Bitcoin blockchain later on. So Lightning Network totally is based on the Bitcoin blockchain. So security, everything comes from the Bitcoin blockchain, and the Lightning Network is just based on top of that. Everything is routed through the network via an onion routing protocol. This makes Lightning much more anonymously than Bitcoin itself, because this onion routing protocol, it makes each of the nodes only know the next hop and the one before. So each node, for example, in the Lightning Network just knows the one before and the one afterwards. It doesn't know much like where the package came from, where it needs to go to. It just knows one direction and that's it. Just the next hops and that's it, not more. And on Lightning Network, all these funds get locked up on-chain. So on-chain, we are locking it. Everybody knows, yeah, this is going into this channel now. And later on, we are closing the channel, and then it gets back on-chain. And this enables us really small payments, these micro payments with less fees, with much less fee, like buying coffee or something like this. And everything happens off-chain. I put up some links now, some wallets, stores, states that you can check out of Lightning Network. There are some analysis tools online, some links here, like a visual network explorer on Lightning Network, because it's such anonymously, you cannot really tell how much one guy has in Bitcoin or in Lightning, because it's so mixed up. You just can guess how much everything together is in Bitcoin, so how much is used in Lightning Network. And here are some diagrams and some graphics that show you how much are in the complete Lightning Network, and also how much currently, how much channels are open and are connected together. You can also compare some Lightning wallets. So there's a site, a really good site, where the Lightning wallets are listed when they are coming out up, and which one has what benefits and so on. Also an exchange that is accepting Lightning payments, like this Zigzag exchange. There are also online stores, a lot of online stores already accepting Lightning to buy like t-shirts of Lightning or some other stuff. You can check them out as well. So I hope this is some easy introduction into Segwit and the Lightning Network, so you understand how this works, and maybe you can already install a Lightning wallet and test it a little bit. Thank you for listening.